we're back at Work Conversations. I'm going to call you my friend Val, because I think you and I could be friends.
I feel certain of it.
Great. Okay.
For sure.
So we are here at Waterline Square. We're in New York City. Let's start, like, who are you? What's your sign? And how did you get here?
Okay, my name is Valerie Jacobs.
Great
and
name.
I consider myself a futurist. That just means that I think about the future in a pretty structured way.
Okay.
And advise people on what they should do about this unfolding future. How I got here, besides, by plane, because I live in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Great accent.
Is that one of my girlfriends and I were out for drinks one night, and she was just, I don't know, she was being my hype person.
Okay.
So I think always let your friends hype you, even when you're kind of like not ready.
Great lesson. Like, let your people talk you up.
Yes. And she's like, Val, I just joined this Slack community called Work Like a Girl. She was singing the praises of it. And she's like, she goes, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but you have to meet Erika. And I was like, okay, great. So she asked me to send my bio, and she put it in the Slack group. And I'm not lying, within 24 hours, basically, maybe 48, you and I had set up a call. And
here we are.
And here we are, magically. And
I love this.
Sign. Aquarius rising. Pisces sun, Pisces moon.
Oh, wow. You're
so I'm
really
swimming around in the waters of the subconscious, which I think is why
you're a futurist.
Yeah, I think so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so meeting Val was one of my greatest work lessons ever, which is, if you want something, just reach out and try, which is, your friend DMs me in the Slack group and it's like, hey, this lady's awesome. You got to meet this lady. And there's usually this whole like rigmarole around the at home at work things of like, we need interior designers and we've got to have 4 people in this. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna write this lady. I'm like, I liked your bio. I think the future is so amazing, but also so scary and so intimidating. Yeah. And I don't know, I just really wanted to talk to you. So then I wrote you and you wrote me right back, and then we had a call the next day, and then here we are. Okay. So tell me, what is your structured way of thinking about the future?
Okay. So I think if I had to break it down in the easiest way to understand, first, it's sort of, what is the thing I want to understand right now? Like, what's my question I'm trying to answer? Then, where should I look for the answer? Then, how do I test and uncover what's new or emerging? Then it's sort of, where do I think that's going, and what do I do about it? So that's like the layman's way.
And you recommend people take this approach?
Yes.
Or you recommend people take this approach. So let's make it real.
Okay. So I have been teaching trend forecasting for about 20 years. So this is a funny story. When I first was interviewing for jobs, I was in Europe talking to some of the biggest trend agencies in the world, and this was like in 2002. So I've been doing this a really long time. And by the way, this type of practice is not really very well known in the United States.
But heavily used in Europe.
Yeah, more so.
Interesting.
And now people, I think, are more educated on it, and more companies use like strategic foresight, might be a fancy way of saying it. But I think it's really important to develop these capabilities within ourselves and organizationally, so you can see around corners. So I consider what I do both delivering bespoke style forecasts to companies, saying like, here's where I think your category is going, where your business is going. But also I think it's important for companies to not only have the intelligence, and I mean like the information, but to develop the way of thinking inside themselves and companies, like build it into the DNA of your company. So when I say it's structured, I really do think about framing the question, scoping it, how far out in the future I want to look, how big of an expanse I want to consider. I create a very structured, I would call it really simple syndication to get the right information to come to me. Then you're sensing analyzing, and synthesizing.
So like AI is the greatest gift that ever happened to you.
It is a gift in certain ways.
Yep.
I think algorithms and AI are still potentially flattening culture and giving us a sense of speed. But I still also believe that sometimes the best idea that I find will be on page 54 of a hard copy Wired magazine. So I use a lot of physical media still. And I use a lot of technology and AI. So I just keep building it all in together into one system, because really it's about creating the right way to collect the dots, curate the dots, and then connect the dots. And I really think that that's the way that you start structuring the thinking. Then you go into, if the trend work is what if, then implications, and what you do about it is the so what.
I love that. I think the future, I love the future, right? Like,
you do.
I'm excited. I'm okay with not knowing. I like chaos. It's very stimulating to me.
Yes.
But I think for a lot of people, the future is very, very scary because it's unknown. I think right now we're also living in a time where the future feels very, very heavy.
I agree with you.
And it's causing people to it's like the opposite of, I think people should be open and out and embrace, like the more surface area you can cover, the more senses you can feel and the more things you can jump on. But the fear factor, which I think is very real right now, makes people like do the opposite. Like you get small and you kind of burrow. So how do you help people move past, like on the personal level? Companies, I think, also have this. I think companies looking for a futurist, or what was the strategic word used?
Oh, strategic foresight.
Companies looking for sounds like foreskin. Like it's strategic foresight. That's a terrible title.
Noted.
Don't take that title back. But how do you help people get past the fear piece of it? Because I think the other piece, like I was having a conversation earlier today, and we were talking about the differences in generations at work, and the boomers are like, my company's going to be loyal to me. I'm going to work at my company forever. I love my company. And the Gen Z people are like, my company's never going to be there for me. I'm not there for my company. I need to have a bunch of gigs. Like, how do you help people feel confident about the future?
Well, I do believe that the path to like more meaning and purpose is to immerse yourself in whatever makes you uncomfortable. So considering more in the landscape, to me, deepens your understanding. And when you have deeper understanding, I think that lowers fear and anxiety. I also believe that thinking about the future is about preparedness, not prediction. And I think when people think about certainty, they're on the prediction side of that. But preparedness, I think, is creating optionality, what might unfold, and then practicing your response in that unfolding future. So technically, strategic word, it's called scenario planning. But it's really just, what are the possible, plausible outcomes that could unfold? And if this happens, what is my plan A,
I'm going
plan
to
B?
Blank.
Yes. And so I really think that that's kind of the way I operate personally and I believe it professionally. And I think what we really need to do in these uncertain times is tap into our imagination to create the future we want and build toward that with our plan B, C, and D in the back pocket, so that when we see that maybe what we want to unfold isn't happening, we can start nudging ourselves or pivoting. And I think that's really what keeps me optimistic, is I have the plan that I want, and I know what I'm going to do
if that doesn't materialize.
If it's not materializing. And so that gives me that sense of, like I said, preparedness.
Yeah, I love that. I think that I wrote about this a lot in my book, I'm Not a Futurist, but I call it the life raft. So what my point of view when I was writing Nobody Cares, and I do this in my job always, I think there's this thing of being like successfully insecure, where like you're successful, but you have this gnawing insecurity inside of you that keeps you wanting to work and wanting to succeed and wanting to be fulfilled and wanting to do things. And I think part of feeling confident about the future means having the A plan, which is like, hey, this all lines up, it all moves. And a lot of times the A plan happens easily. I think the people whose A plan always works are people who aren't striving and pushing hard enough or going as far as they can. But it's always good to have I called it the rafts, where it's like, if this doesn't work out, that's okay, because then I'm going to do this. Or to your point on foresight isn't like, oh, the economy is going to be amazing in 2030. Foresight is, hey, I'm really passionate about writing. Yeah. I'm going to get my reps in writing a book. Or I'm really passionate. I really want to move to the West Coast. Like, I'm going to spend more time on the West Coast. And I think the more people can deconstruct this nebulous future into like, hey, I really want, or not want, that sounds so tacky, but like, I really am striving for blank. But if blank doesn't work out right away, it's cool, because I'm also interested in these 3 other things. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think you still have to allow for spontaneity to happen, because it's, I don't underestimate luck and timing. I mean, a lot of what makes people who act on trends successful is really they were having the awareness, they were watching what was unfolding, and they've got luck and great timing. So don't underestimate those things. And I think that's also, by looking to the future, you're asking like, where do I think, the famous hockey quote, I'm skating to where the puck is. I'm going to skate to where the puck is. And that's kind of always how I felt about it. And I do think, we're hardwired neurologically with two great things in our brain: selective attention and value tagging. So if you are thinking about the future that you want, you're not just daydreaming, you're activating the part of your brain that helps you notice when something arises that's aligned with your idea of the future, and the value tagging helps you prioritize it.
Okay, great.
So see, there's neurology behind these things as to why we are able to make things come true that we want
to survive and thrive. Yeah.
And so we're wired we're wired that way. So I think of it as taking like full spectrum of advantage of our innate gifts.
Yeah. Okay, this is incredible. So how have you managed like your transition to the future?
Okay. So I was sharing this with you a little bit earlier, which is I had a 20-year run at the same company, which I think sounds practically unheard of. But part of my philosophy at work is also go where you can create the most value for that company. Like, this was my philosophy. I'm like, I know sometimes we're worried about what's the equation between employer and employee, but I was like, man, I will always be in a great place if I am creating value.
100%.
And it made me feel great. Like, talk about how do you build your self-esteem is when you know you're building value for yourself. Building value is the skills I learned by having those opportunities, and I gave back by creating value. So that's why I had so many different roles. I just would see an opportunity. I'd be like, hey, I think I should...
I can create value here.
Yeah, I'm going to go be the chief innovation officer now. Oh, wait, no, I think our business development isn't modernized enough. Let's take it into the future. So then I was the chief growth officer. Then I was the chief marketing officer. So I just would keep taking these different roles because I felt like we needed to bring those capabilities into the future. And I saw opportunity for my company to go further. So in 2024, we had the opportunity to sell that company, and I exited. So I'm in a completely different chapter now, and I'm just launching my own business. And it's really kind of interesting because I've gone all the way back to my roots in trend forecasting and started a company called Valerie Jacobs Futures. And so I'm literally... now I'm building the future I want, literally day by day, where I'm like yesterday building an Instagram so I could invite everyone to follow me here. But I mean, so it's fun. Like six squares in a grid. Like
that's okay.
It is really putting me out there, like at my most vulnerable. Like, watch me. I literally think it says "watch me build" or "watch me grow" or something like that, because I literally overnight got 30 followers, and so I'm like so that vulnerable. It's so funny.
I think there's also something so great right now, like for all the evils of the internet and the like diabolical nature of social media. There also is something so freeing and special in seeing someone's journey. And I think that's what's so cool about life now, is like you can become, it's so democratized. You can become
that's so true.
Anything. Like you have all these opportunities to be anything. Like I think that's it's really actually for me, I really feel like it's more a question of choice and values. Like, what's the number one thing?
I agree.
Or the top 3 things. And I think that's really special. Like I'm really into this Justin Bieber song right now. Do you like Justin Bieber?
I do, but I don't know the song that you're about to bring up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you about it because it's just so exciting. All right. Do you know Justin Bieber, Jessica Rose?
Yes.
Do you like Justin Bieber? Sarthik.
Yeah,
you do not like Justin Bieber.
I do like Justin Bieber.
I
like
Justin
his music now, yeah.
Okay, Justin Bieber has a newish album, like Swag, from this summer.
Yes.
And the second song on it is called Speed Demon. I have the thing on repeat. I love this song so much. I love Justin Bieber. I worked in a crazy past life. I worked in music and launched something for Justin Bieber around the Purpose album. I'm not like a crazy Justin Bieber fan. I just want to sound like one. But there's like a bunch of lines in this song about like check your chickens, like, which I think is just like a funny line, like just check your chickens, like, which to me means like just check the things that are most important to you. And I've been thinking a lot about the future, and I've been thinking about like what's important to me, and I'm like checking my chickens is actually important to me. And I'm at a place where I've been trying to put myself out there for so long and try and be on the frontier of anything I could get on the frontier of, that now I'm like, ooh, I have all these like special people that I love and these things that I'm really deep that I want to grow versus just touch and explore. And I think there's like little things like that your values change over time. Mm-hmm. And your future changes over time.
Yes, it does.
And it's okay to be in a journey of all of that.
Without a doubt.
I think that's fun. So you can listen to the Justin Bieber song and you let me know what you think.
I'll tell you what I'm hot on right now. This a zag, but Chelsea Handler put out a new book this year.
Okay.
Do you like her?
I do like Chelsea Handler.
Oh God, she has a new book out called I'll Have What She's Having.
Okay.
And it lifted my heart because she herself has chronicled her transformation. And it's just like really cool. And I think right now so many people are thinking about what kind of purpose they should have. Like, I feel like you kind of tippy-toed up to this a couple of times of like, how do we ensure that we're kind of navigating towards our own North Star?
Yes.
And so this book really, it really talks about the kind of woman she dreamt of being when she was a child. And it's laying down the breadcrumbs of how she's turning into that person.
Oh, that's
and
so
what her
cool.
purpose is. And her purpose is simple. It's just to bring joy to people around her and empowerment. And I think people get really caught up in purpose being something that involves clarity, largesse, scale, etc. And it's not that.
It's really simple. That's awesome.
Simple.
I think I'm going to read that. I think that's
really
great.
good. Or listen to it or whatever.
Do you listen to books or do you read books?
I do all of it.
You do all of it?
Yeah, I have like the biggest fire hose coming at me all the time. If I'm in the car, I'm listening to podcasts.
Oh, I just can't stand people. I am a repeat, like one song on repeat 24/7.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
Because I feel like I spend all day, I jam my day so tight. I am like, from the minute I wake up, I'm on the go. I'm going. And I get tired of the talking. If it makes sense, like I just get tired of the, like, I'm watching stuff at work, I'm talking to people at work, that I just need, it's almost, there's a soothingness in the repetition and also not having to engage.
Yeah, I have a very specific chair in my home, and it is a classic, an iconic womb chair. Okay. The Knoll chair. Okay. And that is my thinking chair.
Okay, I love this.
And it's so funny because that's where I go to do my nervous system calming things, which would be like more like reading a book or sitting. And I know this sounds dorky, but just thinking.
I think thinking is great. I love to think.
I do too. It's like my toy.
I love to. I'm like, I can chew on something. Like last night, I went to the dentist yesterday, and I got yelled at by the dentist because I have several cavities. Ugh. You should see what AI has done to the dental industry. Just as a side note, it's amazing. Like, you don't remember? Did you ever have a retainer or anything?
Oh yeah.
Okay, where they stuck the like clay in your mouth, and then they like.
Yeah.
They like whatever. Now it's all computer generated. It's
thank God.
It's like. Anyways, so they're like, how's it going with your night guard? And I was like, not great. I don't even know where my night guard is. So last night I get home from the dentist, and they're like, you gotta wear the night guard. And I was like, I don't know, wear the night guard. So last night I wore the night guard, and it's a top and a bottom, and it's like I rub my teeth on each other all night just for the feel of it. That's how I feel about thinking. Is I'm always like just like rubbing ideas all the time. I'm like, what about this? What about that? What about this?
I think I have a definite thinking way of being. You know, I think there are people who are like head, heart, gut. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just sitting with it until their gut kicks in and they're like, boom, they know. I have to work really hard to like build that path from here. You know, I have to go up.
Yeah, you're like, I got to travel.
Because I just am happy to stay up here.
Yep. That's so interesting. Okay. So getting more practical, what do you see happening in the future of work?
What's really been on my mind is the attention economy. Mm-hmm. And I know you've covered this on some of your previous episodes and maybe with different language or twists, but I recently went back and rewatched the movie The Social Dilemma. Have you ever watched this movie?
Yeah.
And I rewatched it and I was like, oh my gosh, we need the 2025 version of this. Mm-hmm. But I think that we've become increasingly exposed to persuasive technologies. Mm-hmm. It's all designed to grab you. To grab us. And I think what I want to say is, people, you are the product now, because your attention,
unequivocally,
you are the product being sold to advertisers. And I believe that that's keeping us stuck in our personal perception, which is just what's coming in our own sensory world. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like my thought as a futurist is that we need the antidote to that, which means we have to broaden into perspective, and we need to lengthen the time horizon away from just the instant gratification dopamine hit. And I even feel like right now, I don't even want to give a forecast to anyone. I want to start telling people what the future wants from them. Mm-hmm. Like, now anybody can have the forecast, but who's going to role model the vision and optimism to get through this? So I've really been trying to think about, how do I create a message of optimism and help people break beyond this like really narrow lens. And by the way, it's not everybody's fault. It's like our economy is running on it. And so you have to bring awareness.
The world is actually getting really myopic. Like, yes. I was a sociology major.
Which is why you are a natural trend forecaster. I've listened to enough of your episodes to see that you do pick up on signals. That's what we do. We look for weak signals, and then we're able to make an intuitive leap on why it's happening and where it's going to lead. And you have a natural way of doing this. And when I was looking at your background, I'm like, oh, she's a sociology major. Of course, she's like thinking about explaining the social part of it.
It's so interesting. So I read this book in the 90s called The McDonaldization of America. And it was basically that our world, the technology is going to make things simultaneously like supersized and big, but also everything is going to get so small. And I think the world is getting so small. Like the geopolitical situation, the like fear, like for all sorts of reasons, like whatever's in the soup, it's getting very small, but it's also getting very large and open. And I love what you should write a book. If you clearly should be working on a book. Like you must be working on a book.
I would love to be working on a book, but maybe you'll advise me on that.
I'll definitely. We'll talk about this after. But okay. I've got just the people for you. But long story short, I agree with you, which is it's not about like the future. It's almost more a question of like what future, how future,
Absolutely.
And helping people get to like the what future is actually kind of easy. It's just your scenarios.
Yes.
It's the how you're resilient and how do you expose. The world is pushing to more and more echo chambers and less exposure. So the people who I think push themselves to exposure will be best suited for the future.
Yeah, I kind of think of that as my surround sound.
Yep.
So for me, it's an informational surround sound.
Yep.
And checking bias.
Yep.
And I just want to know about the source I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Like, and if it has a bias, then I just want to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So, but I want to know what everybody's thinking. And
Sorry,
Yeah,
just to
go
interrupt
ahead.
you really quick. I love that you're talking about the source too, because I think that some people probably listening to this are like, these two are like two woo-woo women and like this is bullshit. But I could just GPT what the future is going to be. But I do think it is flattening the world. And if you're not curious in the source, the answer is actually going to be totally flat.
Right. We are absolutely in echo chambers. And I think part of what's funky to me is this creates the illusion of abundance and speed, but that is not what's really happening. We're getting flat and homogenized.
Totally. Have you been following the thing about job applications? So it's like everyone's using AI to make their resume look a certain way and to get to the top of the queue. And then there's no HR people anymore. It's just AI bots talking to AI bots.
Right.
And it's like the Spider-Man meme of like, why is no one getting hired?
And in there, I don't know if you saw this story, but that once the AI bots are really just talking to each other, they like move into some other crazy third language
I believe it.
that no one knows.
It's like, do you know Waymo? Is it Waymo, the Waymo cars? Do you know the Waymo cars?
Yes.
Okay, so in Arizona, whenever I go to Axon, the Waymo cars are all over Phoenix. And I guess when the Waymo cars, there's a lot of them in a parking lot, or I'm butchering this, but they just start bumping into each other. I think that's actually what's happening. Nobody's actually going anywhere.
It's like bumper cars.
Things are bumping into one another.
Yeah. And I think the reason I'm also feeling this, I call them impulses, this propensity to move and take action, is that I really do think people are struggling right now. I think it feels more existential than it ever has, which is why I do think helping people create or understand the future and their purpose in it is what I'm really thinking.
Yeah, that's a great purpose.
Yeah, I think in a way, my purpose is really more around optimism and bringing optimism to people in the face of this fear of the future. But I've really been thinking what would help people the most right now. And
I love this.
And I think that's more what I'm doing in this chapter.
Yeah, you're just using the tools that you have. Okay,
exactly.
How do you help people do that?
Well,
how can people do that?
I think probably the structured way to do it is have a hypothesis. If I do this, I think this is going to happen. Then do the thing and then reflect and iterate. I mean, even I've just been trying this whole year to say, well, I did that thing and I flopped. What did I learn? Okay, next time, do better. And it's across the board this year while I've been in this new kind of space. I even am realizing, I make mistakes booking my travel or not giving I'm messing up all kinds of things.
You have the Bambi legs on the ice.
Yes.
Do you know that you're just falling down all the time?
And I think, thank goodness that my career involved working in a company and working on really big brands and working in a very corporate setting. When I was maybe 10 years in and definitely was past my 10,000 hours, I started an innovation lab within my company to bring new services to our clients. And that was one of the biggest lessons I ever learned, was going from, I call them Scooby snacks, this was the reward system and incentives in this style of working. But when I was running the innovation lab, I had to totally rethink how I was doing things. Yes. Because the metrics change.
Sure.
You're not looking, I couldn't do revenue, profitability, and utilization. That did not work anymore. It was just creating ideas and having the courage to beta test them and put them in front of clients and just take their feedback, see what worked, what didn't, change, go again. And then there were things like, how many calls did we get this week? How many interviews did we get to insights? Oh my gosh, sometimes we would measure in money, but it was just not at the scale.
Yeah, money isn't the top thing.
No, it's not.
It's not. And in innovation, it's funny because just having spent, I live in the internet, and the thing that enabled Barstool Sports, or in my past life, the thing that enabled us to be successful was we weren't thinking about money.
Isn't that interesting?
Because it's like when you think about money, then you have to have scale and it's infrastructure,
Exactly.
and it's flow, and it's like it's other companies, and versus like let's just do it for us. Let's just see it. Let's see it.
Yeah, I one time, and one of the ways I taught myself this too was my girlfriend and I created an Instagram account when it was very new, and we called it Coffee and Kiki, and it was dedicated to my bad latte art, and then the captioning was just whatever we talked about that morning over coffee. But I created an account at the very beginning of Instagram, which was sort of all about latte art and food photos, but I was like, I'm just going to put something I know is bad out there and do it for the fun of it and the learning versus I didn't care about followers or anything like that. I was just like,
it entertains you.
And it made me reduce my fear.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I can put stuff out there knowing it's bad and I can live with it, then I can do bigger other things too without worrying so much. I think that's
such a great insight, which is when you do it, you're less afraid of it.
Yeah.
And I remembered what I was thinking about, which is one of the things, like I get a lot of shit because I'm more in your camp where I'm like, let's just try. Let's try. And I also am probably too hands off in some ways of like, let's see how it does. That post was off or that strategy didn't work. And people who come from perfect or from editorial or from structured places are like, ooh, but that didn't look good. But I'm like, we're in a sea of everything.
Right.
The more I'm going to get it right. It's not right now.
Exactly.
And I'm confident enough to be like, oh yeah, I agree. That's bad.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's a failure. And I think that's also part of the future is like just the trying.
Yes, I think so. And, I've been listening to so many different podcasts, both to motivate myself, like to like remind myself, like every single person did not start out famous. Like we feel like people are overnight successes, but none of us were there when they did their first speaking gig and 4 people showed up.
Yeah, they stunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever happened.
Yeah.
And I listen to the people with stories that help me keep going, that remind me that it's okay to start a fresh Instagram in the middle of doing a podcast with somebody like you who...
No, that's so
you know
great,
what
but
I'm
it's
saying?
so fun.
But also I just had to be like, here's where we are.
Yeah, this is what today
we're
requires.
rolling these dice.
What do you say to people or brands where they're on the wrong track? Or have you encountered that? Or you're like, I don't know, the trend is never gonna.
I will tell you, I spent the first 5 years of my career explaining the naturals and organics movement to chemistry companies and big food.
Okay. That had to be frustrating.
And then the next 5 years were on wellness to people who are like, no, people have problems and we give them solutions. So I do think it's hard and these are big established brands that if you and I did a tour of either of our homes and
they would be all over the place.
They would be everywhere. And I think perseverance had to just be my biggest faith in myself or skill. I don't know. Is perseverance a skill? I don't know.
Yes. I think it's
skill.
Resilience, perseverance.
Yeah, these are skills. Okay. Just checking. I was like, are they innate traits or capacities?
Actually, so funny. They didn't used to be skills.
Yeah, but
now they're skills.
Yeah. Talk about, to me, grit is perseverance and resilience. Had a baby.
100%.
You know? And you know what? I just felt like I was giving them a gift and telling them where things were going. But I also I knew that they had to take what they like and leave the rest. And, over time, it just ended up, I would explain sustainability and naturals and wellness to people over and over again. And eventually they either got the memo or saw someone else eating their lunch. But detachment was maybe the thing I had to do is not make my confidence and self-esteem reliant on if someone did what I said.
I think detachment is an underrated, what is detachment? Is it a skill?
I don't know.
Detachment.
Is it a
Is it an
mindset
ability?
or a way of being? Like, I don't know. But sometimes being so detached to the outcome is the very thing that's getting in our own way.
I think you can be too detached, which you're like
Yes.
unfeeling, you're passive, you don't
Right.
care. And then sometimes, like, I'm feeling more detached lately, actually, from a lot of work things. Not in a way where I don't care. I care
Right.
very much, but I'm open to, like, this might
Yes.
go this way, this might go that
Right.
way. And it's actually a calmness of,
Yes,
like,
it is.
it's not. I think one of the things that is happening right now is your identity is so caught up in who you are, who says yes to you,
Right.
what you accomplish, how, the notches, the rings, whatever, that being detached of like, hey, this could go left, this could go center, this could go right. I'm good with all of it. I have a plan
Yes.
for all of it.
Yeah, and it's sort of an emotional detachment. I think it's like when I think of detachment, it's not that I'm not connected to people, connected to the work, and doing my best. It's the outcome.
Yeah.
I'm detached from the outcome looking a certain way.
Yes.
Like I'm actually a very idealistic person. Like
Yes.
I'm optimistic and I want I want us to have a bright future. But I can't control other
Yes.
people. So it's detachment from the control of someone
Yes.
else.
I think it's the wanting to control it. Like you want to steer I think that actually is a huge skill in getting to the future.
Yeah.
I think you just nailed it, which is
Okay.
you can't will the future.
No.
In some instant, lucky, crazy,
Yeah.
you manifested it. You read The Secret way, but you can't.
You
will
read
it.
The Secret, didn't you?
Obviously,
Like,
I read
I
The
mean,
Secret. I was
this
like, I
whole
will
ge-
find this parking spot. I will find this part. Did you read The Secret, Sarthik?
No, The Secret is it's of our generation.
But it never made
They
it
don't
to
know.
theirs.
They don't know. The one that's the equivalent of The Secret now is called The Source.
Okay.
It's by this woman named Tara Swart, but she's I think she's a neuroscientist and a psychiatrist. I hope I'm not butchering that, but she has a book that's more like the science and the brain science underneath all the things that we woo-wooed out on in The Secret.
That's so funny. So for anyone who didn't read The Secret, Oprah liked The Secret. And The Secret
I loved The Secret.
The Secret was basically like, if you will it in your brain and you visualize it, it will happen. And I basically have run my life on The Secret, which explains that I want a lot of control.
The Secret and the Rules.
Yeah,
That's
The Secret
other
and the
one.
Rules. Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to read The Source. That's great.
It's really good. The middle is a little technical, but
Okay, but the beginning and the end are great. Okay, that's great. But I do think part of back to your original point, like imagining the scenarios is actually quite empowering, where you don't have to control just one because you're so afraid of the others.
Yeah, I think what we're tapping into might also be the biggest professional dilemma I've navigated in the past 20, 25 years, which is I deeply believe and spent a lot of time and money learning how to be a futurist and practicing that. And that is like living in the future and planning what you think you should do in that future. But on the other end of that spectrum, the future can only be created in the here and now. So that's why it's not just fantasizing and daydreaming. It's really building something very sensorially and then bringing yourself back into a purposeful presence.
And a step towards it.
And act now.
Yeah.
And I think, you asked me another question earlier, I can't remember, but you were like, how do we do that? And I was like, well, there's a technique in forecasting called backcasting. And you can do it two ways. One is to go back historically and just go backwards. But I use it often to say, when I've imagined my future 5 years from now, I also imagine what's the thing that happened right before that. And I go backwards over time until I arrive at present day and say, I now know this is my next right action if I want to get to that future. Because I've visualized it in reverse, in a way.
Yes, you've actually plotted your path.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this. All right, thank you so much. This was so wonderful.
I would do this all day, every day if I could.
So fun. This is so great. I can't wait to see what you do.
Me too.
It's going to be amazing.
Me too.
It's going to be great. Well, we're going to do something great. Tell us where we find you.
You can find me online at ValerieJacobsFutures.com and Instagram handle the same, Valerie Jacobs Futures.
And what about the coffee tinks, whatever?
Oh my gosh, that's so old. I need to relaunch it. It's called Coffee and Kiki.
Well, okay, they could also find you there.
Yes, they could. But what they will find is something from 2000.
It's not the future. Thank you for doing this.
It one day. You know what? I want to relaunch Coffee and Kiki, but I thought it sounded too fluffy and too girly almost. Like, I'm like, will that hurt my brand? What do you think if I
Well,
restart
it's its
Coffee
own
and Kiki?
brand.
It is its own brand.
It has nothing to do with Valerie Jacobs Futures.
True.
It's run by Coffee and Kiki. It's like a character. It's a whole world.
All right. Food for thought.
Okay.
Love it.
Thank you for listening to Conversations and to the Work podcast overall. You can find Valerie at Coffee and Kiki. Just kidding. You can find her in the future. And you can subscribe. You can rate. You can review. You can give us your feedback. You can tell us someone interesting to have a conversation with. You can find me at Erika or at Erika _ You can find the Work podcast. You can find all sorts of places to find us. And we'll see you back here next week.